What Trinidadian or Nigerian cultural values have you found to be enriching in your marriage or challenging?
Well, enriching is one question, and then challenging is going to be the question after that.
That's a loaded question.
Yeah, I think let's start with the enriching part. I think family dynamics, closeness within the family on both ends, on external in-laws as well as internal.
Okay, family dynamics, you said.
Yeah, the closeness, of our family dynamics has been very beneficial in our marriage.
Okay.
I'd agree. I'd say family-wise, on both ends, the Trinidadian side and the Nigerian side, both cultures both appreciate closeness within the family. I guess what was the enriching and what was the other part?
Challenging.
Okay, and we're doing enriching right now.
We're doing enriching right now.
I also appreciate the foods. I think that's also a plus to both sides. Both cultures have great food.
I agree. I appreciate the foods as well.
What else?
What about challenging?
Challenging wise, there are a lot of things, culture, there are a lot of things, bad attributes of culture, but I would say the toughest we've had to experience and I've had to experience is the in a sense, I won't even say tribalism, but stay within your own culture. And so that has been my biggest struggle.
Okay.
With marrying somebody from a different culture.
Okay.
To play off of that, I think some of the things that have been challenging is when culture kind of conflicts with religion or spirituality, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, that's an interesting point.
That's, I think, what has been a challenge for me in certain areas of our marriage. Yeah.
What was one of the things that you, before y'all got married, identified as something that you all wanted to bring into your marriage from each other's culture?
We definitely talked about that because I knew that it would be something. And I know for myself, I didn't want it to be a situation where one was going to be precedent over the other.
Okay.
That was really important to me because I thought about, okay, how are we going to raise our children, right? Are we going to raise them more Nigerian or more Trinidadian? And so for me, it's always been, okay, it's going to be 50-50. In a perfect world, I'm pretty sure that doesn't happen. I can't really even say what the percentages are now as we're raising our child. We've been to Trinidad already. We've taken him there. We plan to go to Nigeria as well. So Asher will also get to experience that. But I think he gets a good mix of both. Okay. I think even just interacting with our extended families on his side and my side, it's a good, combination of the both. However, I would say that there has been challenging times due to, I would say, the cultural aspect of what is supposed to be, what is law in one's culture versus another.
What do you mean?
Elaborate, please, babe.
I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe like the politics. I don't. You say politics, and now I'm saying politics, but.
You're looking for me to jump in this. There are.
And I understand you have to be very sensitive to family and cultures.
Yes.
So that's why I was asking, what were some of the things that you wanted to bring into your family?
Okay.
What, we don't have to, I'm mindful and sensitive to those concerns of the people, of the strays that might get caught.
Oh, no, it's fine.
Nah, we appreciate that.
Yeah, we do appreciate that. It's life, and you manage, family is what you're given to manage, not what you pick.
That's very well. I like that. Family's what you're given to manage, not what you pick. That's nice. I like that.
And very true.
That is very true.
That is very true.
So we had.
Is that a Nigerian saying?
No, I just made it
okay.
I made it Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So in regards to this family, so in our kids and growing up, we had conversations, in all honesty, about how we want to raise our kids in exposure, not leaning towards more one side than the other because I mean, one side is more prevalent. Like my side is more prevalent in the States than hers, and especially in the Maryland area.
Right.
I have a lot of family in Maryland, Texas, but they're very much more prevalent. So we've had conversations, but I guess as we had when we had our first kid, and
Well, before that, because I want to talk about the transition from what you had planned on having
to where we
to
are.
actually like when y'all got married. Like, what was the difference between, or if there was a difference between what you planned on, how you planned on coalescing those two very strong cultures, and then like what were some of the challenges in that coalescing?
Okay, so
Coalescing.
Thank you for in saying that too. I knew I was not marrying into an African household there, so there, in keeping that in mind, I have to be not even flexible. I have to be open to know that there is another party involved. There is that I'm bringing into this.
Okay.
So I was very open to hearing and understanding that I need to make accommodations to be 50-50 on both sides. It's not always, even probably 65, whatever, 35, if that's right. 65-35 sometimes, because I know Nigerians are very dominant, and I know we have to accommodate, and her family, they're more relaxed and chill.
Okay.
So I knew I had to make more of an accommodation for her family and how her family operates.
Really?
If not, my family would be.
So did that accommodation come from a intentional, let me set this structure?
No, sir.
Or was it reactive?
It came from encounters.
Yeah,
Okay,
it came
okay.
from
Yeah.
it came from encounters.
Okay.
Gauging every encounter we gauged, and we how can we tweak, or
And I feel like we're still learning even in that process. It's not something we've 100% figured out. We have certain parameters and certain things where we're like, okay, we'll say this, we'll do this.
Okay.
However, every situation and scenario is different.
Is there unity between the two of you all about what that unified position is to the other cultures?
Not always.
Not always, but we found a good way to deal with it.
Okay.
Not even deal, to manage it.
Okay.
We
Talk
found
about
a
it.
good-
Tell the people.
Okay, so before, so we found a good way to manage it. I mean, and this just goes in just having those conversations, having somebody in the middle to guide you, Heath, through especially through situations that are unique, that aren't so that you can't just call any Tom, Dick, and Harry, or that doesn't understand the dynamics at play.
Okay.
So number one, you never make decisions. You always have you have pre-conversations to have a safe plan. If this does not align with what we discuss, we'll get back to them. So we had conversations. It took some time. I would say it took a lot of falls, but we worked through them, bruisings and some dragons.
Things.
But when we had those parameters set between us, right, early on in our marriage, because I would say tradition was a big obstacle.
Okay.
Our culture was a big obstacle.
Yeah.
From two different, to us, from when we started dating to when we got serious to when we actually got married until today. So we had to put different parameters and be on the same accord. Even if we're not on the same accord, we need to get back to our safe zone to have these discussions to hash out.
What do you
what
mean
we
by
needed
safe zone? What do you mean by that?
Safe zone, I would say our home, somewhere we can freely discuss our perspectives and have those conversations. Even though we don't see eye to eye, we can freely and safely have those,
Okay.
what's the word? Those discussions.
Okay.
I would say pretty much our home without the prying eye of other individuals, family, where we can actually openly have a discussion.
So I thought you were talking about it more figuratively, like there's a safe zone that you have created in your communication, in your relationship, that allows you to talk a certain type of way without there being an offense. That's what I was reading into it. But is the home that place, or does that place not exist for y'all?
So for some reason, the keyword fence, it just stuck. There is a level of barrier from us to the outside world, and I extending it everybody outside. So
Okay.
there is a fence, no matter where you are, what we are, there is a fence that we need to keep up no matter what. between us to
Okay.
the outside. Please jump in if you need to. I can talk. But when I say safe zone, I meant actual a little safe space where we can come together to have a discussion, to be on the same accord moving forward.
Okay.
That's what I meant.
Okay. You care to add anything, Victoria?
No.
It seems like I'm driving this conversation. Okay. But I hope I did answer
No, yeah,
your
you
question.
did. You did. I know you've been married only 3 years now.
2+ as you
2+.
identified.
Okay. 2 years now. Do you think that the cultural dynamic is kind of a stable issue, or is there or do you think there's a lot of still room for fluctuation and change in that?
So it's we have a firm foundation, but as I would say, life. Just like life will always find ways to make you adjust or test.
Right.
So we do have a steady foundation. We have a very solid foundation, but as life throws things at you, and this is just me not foreshadowing, but seeing ahead.
Okay.
So like I know when we get back to when we do visit Nigeria again, the dynamics will change because we're married now, we have a child. So certain unfortunately, certain interactions we might have to have certain discussions. Who's going where. If somebody needs to take our kid somewhere, we'll have to have different discussions, and maybe we'll see more aunties and uncles that she's not aware of or she does not know. So we'll have to have different conversations. But foundationally, we do have a steady foundation to deal with those things.
Okay. But here in the States, your foundation is steady, and
Yes.
the fluctuation is what?
Minimal. Minimal at best. Okay.
I'd agree. It's minimal.
To make sure.
It is minimal.
And I know this is a sensitive subject because you're talking about generations of history
Yes.
that have to be honored.
Yes.
And so that's why I'm not trying to pry or pine for information. I just want you to share what it is that your challenges were. But go ahead, Victoria.
Oh no.
And thank you so much, Heath, for being sensitive. But the truth is, we're dealing with it, and I know so many other people within our African community or that dealt with it or try to deal with it and did not get a successful outcome.
Howdy.
So
Yeah.
it's a cultural thing. Sometimes in Nigerian strong culture.
If you want to see another clip, click right here. If you want to see the full episode, click right here.